Let me ask you something. Are you hitting success yet you know that there's another level? Or perhaps you're just getting started. You're trying to put all these pieces together, get your first deal, but something's holding you back. Or maybe you're going through a big change in your career and your life, but for some reason you just can't take the steps you need to know in order to move forward. Well, I've been having a lot of really incredible conversations with people who are in the exact same position as you are, and they've been able to make massive change happen very quickly. Whether that's doubling your income within just a few months, whether that's making some kind of big shift in your life and really unlocking that vision, or perhaps it's just getting clear on what that vision needs to be so that you can really take those steps. Of course, you guys know me, host of the Investor Mindset here, Stephen Pesavento, and high performance coach. I've been working with clients for years, seeing and helping them see major results. And I'd love to set up a call to discover if it's possible to be able to help you with some of those same things. If you are in a position where you want more and you're committed to taking some steps to get there, then I encourage you to head over to investormindset.com/discover and let me know a little bit more information about you. Set up a call and we'll jump on and we'll walk through a discovery process. Totally complimentary. You'll walk away with a lot of clarity. And if there's some way that I can help serve you, I'll let you know that too. So you can just head over to investormindset.com/discover. And I look forward to serving you.
This is the Investor Mindset Podcast.
Going through these times of change and challenge where it ends up really catalyzing and codifying who we are as leaders, it's because during that kind of a moment, you have the option to look at it through the lens. And obviously I can tell the lens you looked at through, maybe we can dive into that as well. But it's through those times where change happens, where the things are unexpected. And we have to, as sponsors, as leaders, as business owners, as investors, we have to be able to ebb and flow with what's happening in that moment. All of a sudden, lending dries up, or the appetite for development dries up. I can echo a very similar feeling during the pandemic. We all of a sudden went from having a property under contract and we're in the middle of fundraising to, is this going to close? Should we close this? What's happening in the world? Should we be selling properties? And it's during those times of uncertainty where you really define yourself as an operator. And the question comes up, have you been through a recession? Well, fortunately, for our experience, we all have at this point. Now that recession was short-lived, but the decisions and the actions that we took as sponsors and as operators, and for all of you listeners as investors as well, is what helps you understand how you deal with those kind of times of difficulty and challenge. And for us, we went very conservative. We sold assets, we went to cash. We still were looking at purchasing things that made a lot of sense, but we went into preservation mode. Other people maybe got more aggressive. Nothing wrong with any of these decisions. Had things worked out differently, I think we'd be very happy with the decision we made. We're still very happy. But what I'm curious about is, how do you look at that challenge? What's the lens that you look through when you're dealing with these challenges? And how do you keep yourself moving forward with an identity that will support you to be able to get through those hard times and over to, a little bit more stability again?
Yeah, great question. I think honestly, what's really helped me kind of through thick and thin of tough situations and crises and uncertainty has been really thinking about like the highest and best version of myself, and also thinking about who I aspire to be. Like, who do I want to be? And who do I look up to, and how would they make decisions? This is also something I teach my coaching clients within Affordable Development Mastery, where we teach them how to do affordable development, exactly what we do, and do affordable finance. We say, hey, what would Evan do? Or what would so-and-so developer do? What would they do in this situation? How would they handle that? And I think we sometimes forget about that. We just think about, okay, well, all the things that could possibly go wrong. And I constantly have that battle in my own head too. I think we're all human. We all have that conversation, of the smaller version of yourself that wants to retract and wants to avoid problems and avoid conflict. And then the highest and best version of yourself that says, hey, like, you're never going to know what the solution is unless you start asking questions, you start uncovering more information. Obviously, your decisions are only going to be as good as the amount of information that you have. So being able to dig into that and figure that out instead of curling up in a ball and trying to say, huddle back and pull back. I think having that, like, removing yourself from your own body and saying, hey, you don't have to retract, you don't have to be scared, and there's nothing to be scared about other than what you're creating in your own mind. Honestly, it happens to me a lot, and I just have to walk myself back and say, hey, you're bigger than this. Like when we have contract uncertainty, when we have deal structure uncertainty, when we have negotiation uncertainty, you're always going to have uncertainty. Especially the bigger deals you do, the more deals you do, you're always going to have uncertainty. And in order to be able to get across the finish line, you're going to have to be able to face that head on. And so I think I just remind myself of that version of myself that does take that head on, and the idols that I look up to that I aspire to be like.
Yeah, that's really powerful. This idea of creating an image of who it is that you look up to that could navigate through any of those treacherous waters. And then to ask yourself, well, what would they do? How would they act? What would they think? And then actually install those thoughts and beliefs into your own brain. That's really, the core of changing your mindset, is really taking on those. And I think it's so helpful to be reminded of that, because there's something you talked about here, which I don't want to let that slide past the audience, is this idea of uncertainty, because uncertainty is everywhere, right? And our ability to deal with uncertainty in our environment is key to our ability to live happy, successful lives, and our ability to truly be able to flow through those times, because naturally we want that security, we want that certainty. It's one of the reasons why people love investing in real estate and creating cash flow and passive income, is because it gives them the ability to feel more of that security. But our ability to step into uncertainty and to be able to navigate that is so critical and key. And so what are some of the things that you do outside of identity work? What are some of the things you do to give yourself that strength to be able to navigate uncertainty with even more ease, and train yourself to not have certainty as your number one human need, or the number one thing that you do need?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think a couple different things that have worked for me. One, I do meditation as much as I can. Try to do it on a daily basis, but that has been, it just kind of gets me more centered on what's important and what's not important. And also, and we just hosted our affordable development mastery clients this past week, and I told them exactly this. I said, look, your job as a developer, and really any successful business person this applies to, is you have to keep an even keel, and you have to remind yourself to keep an even keel. So that means, keeping like this homeostasis drive of like, hey, you're not ever too happy, you're not ever too elated, you're not like going over the top celebrating. You celebrate your win and you move on. And you're never getting too low. You're never like getting down in the dumps. You're never beating yourself up. You know that there's a way. You just have to get back to that like even keel, homeostasis, and getting yourself in the mindset of saying, hey, people are looking up to me. People are relying on me. I'm responsible for others and their well-being, and they're trusting in me. So it's up to me and to be able to perform day in, day out and keep that even keel. I think we lose track of that. And especially like development is there's got to be 500,000 decisions that we have to make, and in each deal, and all those decisions you have to make, there's lots of ups and downs. Like literally we say that our deal dies 100 times before we get it closed, but as long as it lives 101 times, then we're okay. And I think having that mindset of saying, hey, look, like things are going to go up, things are going to go down, but it's up to me ultimately to push things forward. And I have a responsibility based on my goals, based on my family, based on those that trust me and look up to me, and I provide for. So I think meditation helps, remembering to keep an even keel, And then also hiking. I hike a lot. I think that's another, form of meditation, getting out into nature. And then also I rely on my partner, Jeanette. She is, kind of my right-hand person. I run a lot of things by her. And I think that's so important to have she's like a trusted advisor. I joke with her, I tell her she's my consigliere, because she really does, she helps me just give honest, candid feedback. And I think if you have somebody in your life to share ideas, to share thoughts, to share concerns with, that helps me go through tough decision making and uncertainty with a little bit more ease, because I know that, say, hey, we kind of ran through all this possible solutions, and it's got to be probably one of these. And that gives me a little bit more certainty that I need to take action.
Well, thank you for joining for another incredible episode of the Investor Mindset. It's such a joy to be able to share these beliefs, these thoughts, these ways of living with each and every one of you guys, because I just know the power that it can make. And for some of you, for the select few of those people who are truly committed to going after their goals, the people who really believe that there's another level from where they're operating right now, the people who are ready to make change happen rapidly. And even if you're somebody who is stuck, who knows what you need to do, you know exactly the strategy, but for some reason you're not doing it, for those people, there's another option. There's another level that you can reach. And what I've noticed after coaching tons and tons of people through this process is that there's a simple formula. And when you can start to understand how to unlock those pieces within yourself, you'll start to feel more vibrant. You'll start to feel more energized. You'll start to make more money, and you'll start to enjoy the process through and through. So if you're somebody who's in a position, you're ready to make change happen, you're ready to invest in yourself, you really believe that the best investment, the truest ROI is investing in yourself because it continues to give back over and over again, then I invite you to schedule a call, share a little bit about yourself, and see how we might be able to help serve you with the Investor Mindset coaching. You can head right over to investormindset.com/discovery, set up a call, and if there's an opportunity to serve, I'll be right there with you. Thanks, and I look forward to talking to you soon.
Thank you for listening to the Investor Mindset Podcast. If you like what you heard, make sure to rate, review, subscribe, and share with a friend. Head over to theinvestormindset.com to join the Insider Club, where we share tools and strategies from the top investors and entrepreneurs on how to take it to the next level.